Good morning. Thanks for joining us on Denver 7 News on Local 3 here at 7 a.m. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We have a lot going on this Thursday. Aurora's new homeless camping ban is now in effect. We'll explain the rules that just changed overnight.
First, we do want to follow up to some breaking news out of Larimer County. Deputies just found the parents of a toddler who was found safe overnight in Wellington. The 3 or 4-year-old was found near Roosevelt and Kennedy Avenues, so certainly some tense moments there, but we are happy to report that everyone is back together this morning. No word, though, if the parents will face charges for the child getting away.
Also breaking this morning, Moderna wants to be the first to offer a COVID shot to kids under 6. This morning, the company asked the FDA for emergency use authorization for its vaccine. Moderna says the shot generated a strong immune response. Kids under 5 months old still would not be able to get the vaccine.
Well, a live look as the sun starts to rise over the Strip in Las Vegas, where many college football players hope to get the call there later today. The first round of the NFL draft is today. We're going to let you know what the Broncos are hoping to pick up in the draft this weekend coming up. It might feel a little like Vegas in Denver today, Lisa.
It will, yeah. It's going to be a warm one. One of the warmest days of the week. This morning we have some sunshine, upper 40s and low 50s at the bus stop. A really pleasant start to the day. This afternoon we'll get a little increase in cloud cover. Yesterday we had the chance for a few showers. Some neighborhoods saw it. Today it's going to be pretty dry and pretty warm. 78 degrees for a high in Denver. Right now, beautiful shot here from City Park. Not quite as glitzy and glammy as that shot there from Las Vegas, but we do have a pretty start to the day, and you're going to find those temperatures right around 70 degrees by noon. We'll be in the upper 70s, near 80 later today, so we're well above normal, about 10 to 15 degrees above it. Denver 78, Highlands Ranch 77, 50s and 60s for the mountains. Now the mountains will be one of the first spots where we see the change here tomorrow. Gustier winds, rain and snow out west, and some scattered showers here in town. We'll take a closer look at this next cold front, Jason, coming up here in just a few minutes.
And we're taking a look right now at some of the construction that's still happening along I-70. Lanes are open, but we still have the I-70 being worked on here in the Central 70 project. Here's Colorado Boulevard right here where we start that lowered section where the cap will be right back in here for that tunnel. This will eventually be the eastbound side of I-70 right here after the Purina plant, and that will be that side. Right now, traffic obviously going through what should be the westbound side of I-70. It looks pretty good. Obviously, some heavier traffic, very typical stuff, especially on this eastbound side coming through that lowered section. The rest of the drive looks pretty standard for us as well. Not seeing any other big problems around town. Drive times are pretty standard for you anywhere you want to go, including I-70. To or from the airport looks okay. No big problems for us down here to the south side of town.
Well, in a controversial move, Aurora city leaders passed an urban camping ban, and while you were sleeping, the new rules went into place.
Denver 7's Veronica Acosta has been tracking this for months. Veronica, explain the rules that have changed.
Starting today, those experiencing homelessness, they can no longer set up an encampment on public property without permission. But before law enforcement officials can come by and get rid of that encampment, they have to be given proper notice. So city officials actually have to let those living in the encampment know that they're going to be removing it before they do 72 hours in order for them to relocate. This can only happen if the city has open shelter options for those having to leave the place that they currently call home. The measure passed Aurora City Council more than a month ago on its third try. Council members did add an amendment allowing the city manager to create a policy related to storing personal property from those homeless camps. That policy, though, it must include how long those items will be available to those receiving homeless services after a sweep happens. We spoke with an Aurora team that focuses on getting resources out to those in the encampments 5 days a week. They say they aren't sure how this ban will change their jobs, but said it won't be changing their mission.
I expect my job to change regardless of what's happening in other realms. But I know that as long as we are continuously working with the city and with the other organizations who serve our populations, I'm confident that we will be able to reach our goals.
Days ago, we asked a city official about that policy on storing items. That official told the city council will be discussing it in further detail during a meeting that's scheduled on May 2nd. So we'll bring you any updates from that. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Castle Rock police have identified 32-year-old Matthew Buchanan as a person of interest after a woman was found dead inside a home that caught fire. He was last seen driving a white Dodge minivan with temporary Colorado plates 3964372. The victim found inside the home was Elizabeth Bjorlo. Police have not said yet how she died. Court records show last year the victim had a restraining order, though, against Buchanan. Denver police are still trying to figure out who shot and killed 3 people inside an apartment. We brought this to you as breaking news yesterday morning. A man, a woman, and a boy were killed at the East Range Crossing apartment complex. Police have not yet identified them.
This morning, a group of Denver parents is pushing the school district to keep its bilingual programs. DPS Moms Fighting for Public Schools plans to hold a news conference at 8:30 this morning at Colfax Elementary. They say the district has dismantled transitional native language instruction programs, especially at smaller schools. The group is demanding that DPS uphold its consent decree to improve multilingual support for students.
Have you ever received a text message from a number that looks like your own, but you didn't send it and you don't know who did? It's confusing, but it's also tempting to click on the link. Tech experts warn you, though, it is a way to steal your identity. One Denver man had scammers hit his phone. Tyler Grimes here says the messages came from a number only a few digits different from his own. It turns out he's not the only one to receive this type of texting spam. A handful of Denver 7 employees who use Verizon shared screenshots of spam text messages, all sent from numbers either identical to their own or just a few digits off. Some of the texts included pornographic images. Steve Beatty, a professor of computer sciences at MSU Denver, says it's called smishing. And it's simply when bad actors try to steal your data or money through a text message. He says if users keep replying to the text, they eventually are asked to click a link and provide personal information.
The scandalous photos, again, are one of these things that up our emotions. And that's what they're after, is to stop us from thinking and start us to clicking.
Well, Verizon acknowledged the issue to Denver 7 with a statement saying in part Verizon has blocked the source of the recent text messaging scheme, adding that there's no indication of Russian involvement or that any of our customers' phone numbers were compromised. But here are some tips to protect yourself against scams like this. Only open text messages from those you know and trust. If you do get a suspicious text, never open the link in the message and never send personal information by replying to a text from an unknown sender.
Well, earlier this week, we told you about another scam involving the money transfer service Zelle. Crooks call victims claiming to be Wells Fargo or another bank, saying someone has taken money from their bank account. The scammers then claim the money can be transferred back to their accounts by using Zelle. Instead, that money ends up in the hands of the thieves. Wells Fargo tells Contact Denver 7 that it's working to raise awareness about this scam. That includes a scam alert now appearing on the Wells Fargo app. Well, the Nuggets season is over, sadly. They lost to the Golden State Warriors in Game 5 last night of the playoffs. It was close, though. Final score 98-102. The Warriors will go on to play either Memphis or Minnesota.
Well, the Broncos have wrapped up their 3-day mini camp. This practice you're seeing here, just like any other. Russell Wilson leading the offense, running all over the field with his teammates and laughing and joking with Coach Nathaniel Hackett. So the vibes are good with the Broncos right now as we take a live look over Las Vegas, where the NFL draft starts today with the first round. The Broncos do not have a first-round pick this year. That was part of the trade for Russell Wilson. Broncos insider Troy Rank has a look at some of the positions the team still needs to fill in the later rounds.
Yes, it's here, the NFL draft. I love this time of year. It intertwines our love with pro football and college football. We see dreams come true. We see some kids make millions and some make memes. It's different this year for the Broncos because they do not have a first-round pick. But oh yeah, they have Russell Wilson. That's better than any first-round pick they frankly maybe have ever had in franchise history. So don't worry. If you're worried about that, just watch his highlights for a few nights. You'll be fine. But they do have plenty of picks in this draft. 9 overall, 3 in the top 96. This is GM George Paton's wheelhouse. In his first year in charge with the Broncos, he got 6 impact players, including Pat Surtain and Javonte Williams. This year, the first pick is at 64. My projection and hope privately, is Chad Muma, the linebacker. He's from Legend High School. He played at Wyoming. He's rangy. He's fast. He could be a 3-down backer. He might not be available there. So you'd look at cornerback like Kobe Bryant or even a guy like Roger McCreary from Auburn. You move on to that 3rd round. Kobe Bryant could be there at corner. And early, maybe even that second day, Nick Bonita. Those are some of the things to keep an eye on for the Broncos. They need an edge rusher, they need a corner, they need a tackle, and they need a tight end. Russell Wilson, I believe, will get them back to the playoffs, but you got to win in the margins if you're going to be a good team. That is why it's the time for George Paton to hit another home run in the draft. It might start tonight. It's unlikely, but Friday, the phones are going to be ringing down at Dove Valley as Denver looks to beef up their roster. Reporting for Denver 7. Troy Ray.
Yeah, football fans excited about the possibilities here. You can watch round 1 of the draft over on Denver 7 at 6 p.m. and then stick around for a special post-draft newscast at 9:30.
A lot of people who went to college are holding their breaths, waiting to see what the president will do about student loan debt. Some surprising findings from a new survey coming up.
Also, a new report is helping us better understand Colorado's complicated housing market. We're taking a 360 in-depth look when we return.